Welcome, Charles. It's lovely to meet you. I know that Michelle is doing a fantastic job here as far as FinTech, representing FinTech in Hong Kong. And I was wondering if you could tell me what led you to that passion of being interested in FinTech?
I've been in Hong Kong for 15 years, and before joining InvestHK as the head of FinTech, I was part of the team launching the first robo-advisor in Asia. That was back in 2015. So we launched at the same time in Hong Kong and Tokyo, the first B2C robo-advisor. And this really get me into this industry, all the complexity of it and all the potential of it. And I was really attracted by the new taste of finance with technology. So later on, I got the opportunity to join the Hong Kong government to basically lead a very ambitious program of promotion and also, I would say, facilitations of international FinTech to basically capture the potential of Asia in FinTech, and as well as helping them in setting up their business in Hong Kong.
So it's very smart of the Hong Kong government to focus on this domain because, well, I know Asia was ahead of the US, definitely, but it's smart because obviously a lot of domains are going to be affected, a lot of industries are going to be affected, so good on you guys.
It's actually very interesting to look at the FinTech potential of Hong Kong, because we are not building FinTech from zero. Actually, Hong Kong today is the leading financial center of Asia. We are number one in Asia for asset management, so we managed back in 2015 $2.3 trillion of AUMs in various verticals. So it's actually more about reinventing the finance in Hong Kong. We believe it's more about renovating the finance in Hong Kong, and the FinTech opportunity is really, I would say, grabbed by new companies, new entrants, but most importantly by all the stakeholders of the existing finance, which understand that the technology is basically reinventing their business model, and they really want to embrace this. And both at regulator side and private sector side, we have the chance to have a very vivid and enthusiastic ecosystem in Hong Kong.
And what is the part of the domain that's trending the most at the moment in Hong Kong?
A lot of the FinTech, I would say, momentum in Hong Kong is basically coming from the Hong Kong market itself and also our connectivity with China. So as you know, Hong Kong is part of China. When you start your business in Hong Kong, you start your business in China, a special region of China which is very global with a very strong history in finance and a lot of different assets. But what is very exciting in Hong Kong is to see this connectivity with one of the largest markets in the world, which is really growing at very fast pace. And we've got this, obviously, this connectivity by our governments and regulations, which really helps for companies in Hong Kong in FinTech to really grow at very fast pace. So we are very much a super connector when it comes to FinTech. You will see some companies from the Western world coming in Hong Kong with their technologies, their innovation, but you also see, and this is very, very interesting, to see all the Chinese FinTech, which is really a fantastic ecosystem to look at, which is basically going outside of China through Hong Kong. So you've got all these giants of FinTech, which are the Lufax, the Dianrong, the Jiandong of the world, which are expanding internationally through Hong Kong. So it's really make an ecosystem which is a patchwork of East and West in terms of technology, with a very strong, I would say, legacy in finance and a very strong appetite to keep reinventing itself. So that's what makes Hong Kong very exciting.
So recently, the Chinese government just shut down the ICO. What's going to happen with that? Because that's a bit disappointing, and everyone's a bit shocked.
So Hong Kong and China are two different systems, one country, two systems. So Chinese government took some stands on the ICO. So the ICOs have been banned recently. What is very interesting is to see the Hong Kong regulators to basically explain that the ICOs are welcome in Hong Kong. You can do ICOs in Hong Kong under specific, I will say, terms, and they really want to understand what are the features of the token you want to release to the public. So ICOs are possible to be done in Hong Kong under certain rules. So we really have, I will say, two very different approaches. But I believe also, if we come back to the mainland Chinese market, I guess this ICO ban is, I will say, some kind of a standby. The government have seen this phenomenon growing very, very fast. When you look at this opportunity of reinventing funding for projects and funding for innovation, it has been growing very fast, and sometimes in a basket you've got also some bad apples. And I guess the government of mainland China decided to say, okay, let's take a break. Let's make sure we understand this full phenomenon and define some rules. So I believe these ICOs are not ended in mainland China, but they will probably restart under certain terms and conditions. Hong Kong is already defining some clear rules for ICOs. We have a certain numbers of ICOs which are happening in Hong Kong, but we want to make sure that these ICOs are healthy for the market, healthy for the investors, and following some, I would say, safe rules for this phenomenon to grow and to remain very healthy for the ecosystem overall.
So they were saying that that ICOs are like Kickstarters on steroids, and obviously it has gone a bit crazy all over the world recently, but it is obviously also threatening the traditional investors, and I would imagine that maybe having a go slow like China is putting in place at the moment would actually help work out the rules possibly. So hopefully, as you said, it won't be the end of it. Where do you think things are going as far as FinTech goes in Asia?
Partnerships. I think the FinTech narrative has been really much changing over the past 2 to 3 years. I guess the early days of FinTech was about total disruptions and replacing the existing players by new players and reinventing the world. There is definitely space for disruption in finance, but there is more space and more opportunity in actually renovation. So I believe what I really see with the companies we work with and we help at Invest Hong Kong is really all the I would say the appetite for partnerships with existing players. Should it be from the banking sectors, from the insurance sectors, from the regulators also, where there is a lot of innovations and a lot of value created by some technology startups which can be integrated or part of ecosystems of existing players. And we see that in Hong Kong, but also in the region. So I really believe this is what we see changing. And in the 5 different priorities we have at the Hong Kong government, we see these partnerships, I would say, coming in and in. So the 5 priorities we have at the Hong Kong government are, number 1, cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is important because FinTech is finance, finance is trust. Whenever there is a cybersecurity event, it damages the trust and basically damages the overall industry. So this is very high on our agenda. Second priority is blockchain. Not only about ICOs, but also, and most importantly, I would say, around the infrastructure of blockchain. Blockchain will really help the financial services, overall, the capital markets, the insurance industry, the payment industry, to reinvent a new type of infrastructure which is more lean, more safe, and more transparent. Another priority for us is insurance technology. We have a big market for insurance in Hong Kong, which is traditionally not so innovative, but we've seen this changing a lot in the past 2 years. And this is where we really work to make sure that the ecosystem of Hong Kong is rich of all the best practices and champions from all over the world. Regulation technologies are also in our agenda. Finance is a regulated business. It's a global business, and regulations will keep, I will say, will stay in the ecosystem for long. And we have to be thankful for the regulations. But the winners of tomorrow in finance are the ones which can basically apply compliance and apply regulations with technology. So it does not become a bottleneck or a point of frictions for them, but basically an advantage because they can apply the rules and regulations in a super efficient way. And the last priority for us is wealth technologies. So as I was saying, we are number 1 in Asia for asset management in Hong Kong. It's a great market with multiple players. The distribution of wealth product is changing very fast. We're going to talk about robo-advisor in a few minutes, and it's something which has been in motion in Hong Kong for a certain number of years, and we have a strong appetite, and our private sector in Hong Kong have a strong appetite for all these wealth technologies.
Right. Well, thank you so much, and I'm so looking forward to this panel. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to the panel.